Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We explore the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, and today we bring you a mind-blowing tale that has shocked collectors and numismatic experts around the world, the unbelievable story of the 1997 1-cent coin that's been valued at an astounding $286 million due to a series of extraordinary minting errors, rare anomalies, and mysterious circumstances that have made it one of the most sought-after coins in the world. It may be hard to believe that a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could hold such an astronomical value, but when you dive deep into the hidden details, strange production flaws, and once-in-a-lifetime minting mistakes, it begins to make sense why this particular 1997 penny has captured the imaginations of investors, historians, and coin hunters globally. Now, to understand what makes this coin so special, we need to go back to the era of its creation. In 1997, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins to meet circulation demands, including the humble Lincoln cent. Most of these were struck in either Philadelphia or Denver, using standard copper-plated zinc planchets that had become the norm since 1982. But hidden among these everyday coins, 1 cent in particular emerged as a minting anomaly so unique and riddled with multiple layers of unexpected features that it came to be known among numismatists as the cursed cent or the ghost strike, and eventually, as its value soared, it was nicknamed the $286 million cent. The coin came into the spotlight during a routine estate sale in Nebraska in early 2023, when a retired railroad technician's coin collection was appraised by experts, and this particular cent was found in a protective plastic flip, unremarkable at first glance, but upon close examination, it exhibited a bizarre combination of errors rarely, if ever, seen on a single coin. The first and most striking of these was a double obverse strike, where both sides of the coin appeared to have the obverse of the Lincoln design, but in mirrored alignment and slightly rotated. This immediately puzzled the evaluators, as such a mistake would have required a catastrophic failure at the mint, either a misfeed into a misaligned press or an experimental hubbing process gone wildly wrong. On top of that, the fields of the coin showed a deep die clash pattern, meaning that the dies had struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghost-like impressions of Lincoln's bust and lettering deeply embedded into the wrong fields of the die faces. This gave the coin an eerie appearance, as if two images of Lincoln were haunting the same surface, adding to its mystique. Further microscopic investigation revealed dramatic die cracks stretching across Lincoln's jawline and forehead, giving the illusion of battle scars and lightning-like fractures that divided the coin's face into jagged regions. The reverse, though improperly formed, contained remnants of the Lincoln Memorial design, but they were ghosted, off-center, and partially obliterated by an unusual lamination error that suggested the plating process had failed in one corner, exposing the raw zinc core beneath in a spectacular silver gleam that sharply contrasted with the coin's copper tone. Metallurgical testing added another layer of mystery, revealing that the coin's alloy was not consistent with standard copper-plated zinc composition. Instead, trace elements of tin, nickel, and even a tiny concentration of tungsten were detected, pointing toward the possibility that this planchet had somehow originated from an experimental batch or was contaminated by foreign metal sources within the minting facility. This unique metallic signature raised questions about whether this cent was part of a test strike, a rogue experiment, or an accidental minting crossover from equipment used for foreign coins. Another feature that stunned the experts was the font on the date and mint mark. The numerals of 1997 were clearly off in alignment, with the 9S being larger than standard and the 7 slightly elevated and punched twice, indicating either a repunched date error or evidence of hand punching, a method not commonly used in modern minting. The mint mark, a small d, appeared to be punched upside down and in reverse orientation, a mistake so rare that some numismatists believed it to be unique in all of Lincoln cent history. But perhaps the most astonishing revelation came when ultraviolet light was applied to the coin's surface, revealing luminescent residue embedded in the recesses of the lettering, a residue that was later identified as a polymer-based lubricant used only in test environments within the U.S. Mint during limited production runs, suggesting this coin may have inadvertently escaped from a confidential testing batch or prototype series. The coin's provenance added to its intrigue, as the original owner was never known to be a high-level Mint employee or insider, leading some to speculate that this cent may have entered circulation purely by accident or through an unsanctioned leak from within the mint. Whatever the origins, once the coin's unique features were catalogued and confirmed by multiple independent grading services, including PCGS and NGC, its value skyrocketed. An initial private auction brought offers of over $50 million, but as media coverage and collector hype surged, the bidding war intensified among high-net-worth individuals, coin investment funds, and even museums seeking to own what was now dubbed the most valuable mistake in modern minting history. By late 2024, a private buyer from the UAE secured the coin for $286 million, setting a record not just for pennies but for any coin ever sold. Collectors and analysts began speculating on the coin's long-term value, believing it could break $500 million in valuation within the next decade, especially if more evidence emerged tying it to a secret experimental program at the mint. Many theories emerged in numismatic circles about what could have led to this perfect storm of errors. Some argued it was a multi-strike test piece that was accidentally released into circulation. Others suggested it could have been part of a die alignment testing session gone wrong, and still others believe the coin was deliberately sabotaged by a mint employee as part of a hidden rebellion against automation processes at the time. Regardless of which theory holds true, what remains undeniable is that the 1997 1-cent piece embodies the rare convergence of historical context, technological anomalies, manufacturing defects, and the enigma of human error, all wrapped into a single tiny artifact. Collectors around the world have since taken renewed interest in 1997 cents, scrutinizing them under magnification in hopes of discovering additional examples or related errors, though none matching the magnitude of the $286 million cent have surfaced. The story has reignited interest in Lincoln cents from the 1990s, prompting both amateur and professional treasure hunters to revisit their old rolls of pennies in search of anything out of the ordinary. Coin grading services report a spike in submissions of 1997 cents, and online marketplaces are flooded with listings hoping to capitalize on the buzz. The U.S. Mint has issued no official comment on the coin, nor has it acknowledged any test program involving such anomalies, adding a veil of secrecy and further enhancing the mystique surrounding this coin. Its existence now straddles the line between myth and reality, a single cent whose errors, oddities, and unrepeatable characteristics have made it one of the most valuable physical objects ever produced in error. And while many might view it as just a bizarre mistake, to collectors it represents the thrill of the unexpected, the magic of discovery, and the awe-inspiring value that can emerge from even the tiniest of overlooked details. As we continue to investigate the world's rarest coins, the 1997 1-cent remains a beacon to all collectors, a reminder that fortune can sometimes be found in the most unlikely of places, perhaps even in your pocket change. So keep looking, keep searching, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries as we bring you the wildest stories of wealth hidden in plain sight, right here on our channel. Next, 2015 1-cent USA coin. Incredible stories of rare coins and unbelievable hidden treasures come to life, and today we're diving into one of the most astonishing tales ever told in the world of numismatics, the jaw-dropping story of the 2015 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, appraisers, and treasure hunters alike with its eye-watering value of $200 million. A coin so unique, so drenched in mysterious minting errors and layered with anomalies that its discovery sent shockwaves across the globe and reignited a frenzy among penny collectors everywhere. And as we unravel the enigma behind how a modern-day penny, struck in a time when coin production was highly automated and technologically advanced, could end up being one of the rarest and most valuable coins in human history, we invite you to join us on this fascinating journey through error, coincidence, possibility, and pure historical significance, beginning in the heart of the Denver Mint in 2015, where billions of coins were being produced for general circulation and where precision, speed, and efficiency were the core principles guiding the production lines, but somehow, within this hyper-regulated, laser-controlled environment, emerged a coin so baffling that it defied every known quality control measure, slipped through layers of scrutiny, and ended up resting undisturbed in a private coin collection for years before being recognized for what it truly was, a one-of-a-kind marvel forged in error. Layered in mystery, and now revered as the $200 million cent, and what makes this single 2015 penny so incredibly valuable isn't just one or two errors, but a cascade of distinct, unrelated, and seemingly impossible mistakes that all came together in one coin, beginning with its composition, as laboratory analysis would later reveal that the planchet used to mint this coin was not made from the standard copper-plated zinc that had been the norm for decades, but instead was composed of a previously undocumented alloy blend containing traces of magnesium, titanium, and a rare earth element believed to be ytterbium, which has never officially been used in U.S. coinage. And the presence of these elements points to the possibility that the coin's blank was either created during a secretive alloy testing period at the mint or was the accidental result of contamination from another experimental batch, and when magnification was applied to the coin, experts were stunned to find a wildly off-center strike with a rotation of approximately 45 degrees, resulting in Lincoln's portrait being pushed almost to the rim and with parts of his profile extending into the field normally reserved for the legend and mintmark, which themselves appeared distorted, stretched, and warped in a fashion never before catalogued, and to make matters more baffling, the mintmark, D, was not only in the wrong position but also appeared to be inverted and doubled, with one clear impression and a shadowed second strike offset by nearly a millimeter, and this suggested the possibility of a mintmark repunching error, which should be impossible under modern minting protocols where mintmarks are no longer hand-punched, adding further weight to the theory that this coin was struck during a test phase or with faulty dies. And it doesn't end there, because on the reverse of the coin, where one would expect to see the shield design that has adorned Lincoln cents since 2010, was an almost ghost-like version of the shield, flattened in some places and incompletely struck in others, with the vertical stripes bleeding into one another and the scroll bearing the words E pluribus unum appearing to be partially missing, as if the die failed to transfer the full impression, possibly due to severe die wear, misalignment, or contamination with debris during the striking process. And deeper inspection of the reverse also revealed irregular die clash marks, where the two dies may have struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving behind impressions of elements from both sides, such as Lincoln's jawline faintly visible behind the shield and letters from Liberty bleeding into the upper part of the reverse design, creating a bizarre and haunting overlay that no ordinary Lincoln cent has ever displayed. And when ultraviolet light was applied to the coin, researchers were astounded to discover a distinct fluorescent pattern outlining parts of the rim and lettering, indicating the possible presence of chemical residues from cleaning agents or metal stabilizers used only during experimental die preparation or equipment calibration, again pointing toward the likelihood that this coin was not intended for circulation but somehow ended up there due to human oversight or deliberate mishandling. And then there's the strike pressure analysis, which showed that parts of the coin were struck with abnormally high force, resulting in raised ridges along the edge and partial blockage that caused Lincoln's portrait to bulge slightly into the planchet's rim, an error not commonly seen in modern minting because of the precise pressure calibration systems used in Denver, and this raises the question of whether the coin was struck using miscalibrated equipment or perhaps even pressed multiple times with slight misfeeds in a sequence that has never been replicated or observed. And metallurgical scans conducted in 2023 revealed yet another peculiarity: the coin exhibited magnetic properties not consistent with traditional U.S. coinage, which led experts to believe that either the alloy contained ferromagnetic materials introduced unintentionally or that the blank itself was drawn from a pool of planchets intended for a completely different denomination or foreign coinage. And the oddest part is that the surface luster of the coin had an almost iridescent sheen, reflecting subtle hues of violet, green, and gold under angled light, something that no normal copper-plated zinc cent would exhibit. And while it might seem like toning or environmental damage, the consistency and symmetry of the coloration ruled out those possibilities, further mystifying even the most seasoned professionals in the field. And as if all these factors weren't enough, the coin's die alignment was found to be significantly rotated, with the obverse and reverse being misaligned by 30 degrees, producing what is known in the numismatic world as a dramatic rotated die error. And this, combined with all the previously mentioned features, created a 1 in a billion specimen whose very existence defies logical explanation. And when this coin finally came to light, it was after years of sitting unnoticed in a private coin album owned by a hobbyist in Utah who had no idea what he possessed until a chance visit to a coin show resulted in him showing it to a professional grader, who immediately recognized its potential and recommended it be sent to multiple grading services for authentication and documentation. And once the coin was submitted to PCGS and NGC, the results confirmed the unimaginable: a coin that broke nearly every known rule of modern minting, a coin so complex in its layers of error that it took months to fully catalog and examine. And when it was certified as a one-of-a-kind specimen and placed in a private auction, collectors from all over the world scrambled to acquire it, with billionaire investors, historical museums, and private institutions driving the final price tag to a record-setting $200 million in late 2024, a sum that shocked the world and transformed the humble 2015 cent into a legendary artifact of modern American minting, and what's more, its discovery has triggered a worldwide surge in interest around 2015 pennies, with collectors now obsessively hunting for similar characteristics, scanning thousands of coins with microscopes and advanced imaging tools hoping to find a second example, though none have surfaced, reinforcing the notion that this was truly a one-time event, a perfect storm of mechanical error, material anomaly, and possible experimental interference, all culminating in the birth of a modern masterpiece hidden in plain sight. And the U.S. Mint, while declining to comment on the specifics of this case, issued a generic statement about their commitment to quality and noted that occasional anomalies can occur, a response that only added fuel to speculation that this coin was somehow tied to a covert test run or a rare internal malfunction that was quietly buried. And even now, years after its discovery, the legend of the $200 million 2015 penny continues to grow, inspiring documentaries, interviews, and panel discussions among numismatic experts, all trying to piece together the how and why behind a coin that shouldn't exist but does, and in doing so, it serves as a powerful reminder that even in the age of machines and mass production, the unexpected can still occur, and fortunes can be hiding in the most ordinary of places, like a single cent resting quietly in your change jar. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of curiosity, because as this incredible story has proven, the next record-breaking discovery could be sitting right in your pocket, waiting to change your life forever. Next, 2005 1-cent USA coin, we uncover the most astonishing tales from the world of rare coins, where the smallest pieces of metal can hold the greatest secrets and mind-blowing fortunes. And today, we bring you a story that seems almost impossible to believe but has been verified, analyzed, and now lives on in numismatic legend. The unbelievable saga of the 2005 1-cent coin that is now valued at an astonishing $12 million, a coin that, at first glance, looks like any ordinary penny you might find in your pocket change, but beneath its coppery surface lies a sequence of mistakes, minting anomalies, production flaws, and hidden history so rare that it has elevated this single coin from obscurity to numismatic royalty. And what makes this story so thrilling isn't just the value, but the journey that brought this coin to light, and how multiple seemingly minor errors converged into a masterpiece of rarity, beginning with the era itself, as 2005 was a time when the U.S. Mint had already transitioned fully to the copper-plated zinc composition for cents, and the production process had become nearly flawless thanks to decades of refining coin-striking technology, which is why the existence of a coin like this, a 1-cent piece riddled with errors that should have been caught and destroyed, became a complete anomaly that captivated the attention of collectors, historians, and investors around the globe. And it all began when a modest coin collector in rural Ohio stumbled upon this peculiar penny in a roll he had picked up from a local bank, a coin that immediately looked strange to the naked eye due to its color, which appeared darker and duller than standard 2005 cents, and when he held it under a magnifying glass, he noticed the obverse. The side featuring Abraham Lincoln was oddly struck, with Lincoln's portrait slightly rotated and misaligned with the coin's outer rim. And even more intriguing, the word Liberty was barely visible, appearing to be fading into the coin's surface, almost as if it had been only partially engraved, while the date 2005 was dramatically doubled, each number appearing to have been punched twice with a slight offset, an error that alone could increase a coin's value by hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity. But in this case, it was only the beginning, because as the collector turned the coin over, he saw that the reverse, which should have displayed the Lincoln Memorial, looked like it had been melted or partially obliterated, with only fragments of the memorial visible and large portions of the field showing raised blobs, scratches, and even what appeared to be foreign text, though it was later revealed that these mysterious shapes were actually remnants from a die clash, an event where the coin dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring elements of the design onto the opposite die, which in this case created a chaotic blend of lines and patterns that gave the reverse an eerie, ghostly appearance. And beyond the visual anomalies, the weight of the coin raised even more questions, because rather than weighing the standard 2.5 grams for a post-1982 Lincoln cent, this particular coin came in at nearly 3.1 grams, a significant deviation that led experts to investigate the coin's metallurgical composition, and what they found astonished them. A rare hybrid alloy that appeared to include copper, zinc, and traces of nickel and iron, elements not typically found together in a US cent, and pointing toward the possibility that this coin had been struck on a foreign planchet or on a test blank meant for another denomination, perhaps even an experimental batch never meant to leave the US Mint. And further complicating the mystery was the edge of the coin, which appeared to have a slight reading effect, tiny grooves etched into the rim, something that Lincoln cents are never supposed to have, as they are produced with a smooth edge, and this gave rise to speculation that the coin had been accidentally struck using dies from another denomination, possibly a dime or foreign coin, which would explain the incorrect planchet, the unusual edge, and the multiple striking anomalies. And as more experts got involved, including those from PCGS and NGC, the coin was subjected to advanced imaging, X-ray fluorescence, and microscopic examination, revealing that the coin's strike pressure had been unusually high, causing certain areas to bulge and others to flatten in unpredictable ways, resulting in a bizarre, almost liquid-like texture across the surface of the coin. And in addition to the double date and off-center strike, researchers also discovered clear signs of a die break, a raised crack running from the top of Lincoln's head down to the edge of the coin, splitting his profile slightly and giving the appearance of a scar, a feature highly prized by collectors because it represents a mechanical failure in the die used to strike the coin, which usually only affects a small number of pieces before the die is replaced, adding to the rarity of such specimens. And then came the biggest surprise of all, which was discovered only after the coin was exposed to UV light during laboratory testing, at which point the fields around the date and mint mark fluoresced with a bluish hue, a phenomenon attributed to chemical residue from a cleaning agent or possibly a lubricating polymer used during experimental minting processes. And this discovery reignited speculation that the coin had not been struck under normal conditions but was possibly part of a confidential test run, a prototype, or an unintended result of an unauthorized experiment at the mint, all of which dramatically increased its value in the eyes of collectors and investors. And by the time the coin was certified and placed on the market, the buzz surrounding it had grown into a frenzy, with collectors from around the world eager to get their hands on this enigmatic piece of modern minting history. And when the auction finally took place in 2024, bidding was fierce and fast, with the final hammer price landing at an unbelievable $12 million, instantly making this 2005 1-cent coin one of the most valuable modern-era coins ever sold. And since then, its fame has only grown, inspiring dozens of articles, YouTube videos, numismatic research papers, and even a short documentary exploring the possible origins and implications of such a coin. And although the US Mint has not officially acknowledged how or why the coin was produced in this manner, their silence has only deepened the mystery, fueling theories about secret test programs, rogue employees, or accidental mix-ups involving foreign contracts. And in the aftermath of the coin's discovery, thousands of collectors began examining their own 2005 cents with renewed intensity, hoping to find even the slightest resemblance to the million-dollar error, but none have come close to matching the combination of mistakes found in the original, solidifying its status as a true one-of-a-kind anomaly. And today, that coin sits in a high-security vault belonging to a private collector in Europe, insured for more than $15 million and periodically displayed at international coin exhibitions under heavy guard, where it draws crowds of curious onlookers and passionate numismatists eager to see firsthand the coin that defied logic, challenged the mint's precision, and reminded the world that even the most ordinary of objects, a single 1-cent piece, can sometimes hold secrets worth millions. And if nothing else, the story of the $12 million 2005 penny serves as a powerful reminder that incredible value can come from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes, the greatest treasures are hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently for someone to recognize their worth. So the next time you find a penny in your change, take a closer look, because you never know when a tiny mistake could lead to a life-changing discovery. And as always, keep collecting, keep learning, and stay tuned to this channel for more incredible stories of hidden value, rare coins, and the thrilling adventures of treasure hunters across the world who know that sometimes, all it takes is one coin to change everything. Last 2009 1-cent USA coin. Small coins lead to big surprises, and everyday pocket change can unlock fortunes beyond your wildest dreams. And today we dive into one of the most fascinating, mind-bending, and value-defying stories in the numismatic world. The tale of the 2009 1-cent coin that has shocked experts and collectors by commanding a staggering $24 million in value due to a unique and unrepeatable combination of minting errors, mechanical missteps, compositional anomalies, and Historical quirks that have elevated this one specific penny from a mere piece of currency to a priceless collector's treasure unlike anything seen in recent times, and to truly understand the magnitude of this find and the incredible journey that has brought it to the forefront of coin collecting fame, we must first explore the unique context in which the 2009 Lincoln cents were issued, because unlike most years, 2009 marked a special occasion in U.S. history, the bicentennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent itself, and in honor of this momentous milestone, the U.S. Mint released 4 different reverse designs for the 2009 Lincoln cent, each one commemorating a different aspect of Lincoln's life, namely the birth and early childhood in Kentucky design, the formative years in Indiana design, the professional life in Illinois design, and the presidency in Washington, D.C. design, and while all 4 of these coins were produced in massive quantities at the Philadelphia and Denver mints for general circulation, and also struck in higher quality proof and satin finish versions for collectors, something completely unexpected happened at the Denver Mint during the production of the formative years design, where a previously undocumented error sequence led to the accidental creation of a coin that would go on to become the most valuable 2009 cent in existence, now known by collectors as the $24 million Lincoln error cent, and the story of this remarkable piece begins in a batch of 2009 formative years cents where an unnoticed mechanical failure resulted in a series of catastrophic die clashes, off-center strikes, planchet irregularities, and striking pressure miscalibrations that somehow converged into the creation of a single coin so flawed, so surreal, and yet so perfectly encapsulating the essence of minting failure that it was instantly recognized as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery when it finally surfaced years later in a modest coin collection in Texas. And what makes this coin so exceptionally valuable isn't just the presence of one glaring error, but a layered series of multiple distinct mistakes that, together, form a numismatic masterpiece, beginning with the coin's most obvious feature, an extreme off-center strike, with the obverse image of Lincoln's profile shifted dramatically to the right, so much so that the left side of his face and head extend almost completely off the planchet, while large portions of the outer legend, including "I in God We Trust" and "Liberty," are entirely missing, partially obscured, or ghosted onto the rim, a mistake that would already make the coin worth a premium, but in this case is just the beginning, because the date 2009 and the mint mark D, which should be neatly aligned under Lincoln's shoulder, are instead jumbled and doubled, with 2 sets of digits overlapping at odd angles, suggesting a rare and extreme case of a double die or even a dual impression from 2 separate strikes, possibly due to a mechanical misfeed or press jam that caused the coin to be struck multiple times with misaligned dies, and when the reverse is examined, the errors become even more astounding, because rather than showing a clean depiction of young Lincoln reading while taking a break from rail splitting, as per the official formative years design, the image is only partially visible and highly distorted, with Lincoln's figure bent and warped, his legs truncated, and the surrounding elements including the log, ground, and background all blending into an amorphous blob of raised metal, the result of either die erosion, severe die clash, or improper die alignment during striking. And to make things even more bizarre, portions of the obverse image, including the outline of Lincoln's head, appear faintly on the reverse side of the coin, suggesting that the dies struck each other without a planchet in place at some point, creating a dramatic die clash that left mirrored ghost images embedded into the dies themselves, which were then transferred to subsequent coins, and on this particular specimen, the clash is so prominent that Lincoln's reverse pose seems to melt into his own face on the obverse, giving the coin an eerie double vision effect unlike anything ever documented, and metallurgical analysis of the coin revealed yet more anomalies. Because unlike standard 2009 copper-plated zinc composition, this coin was found to have an unusual blend of metals in its core, with elevated levels of nickel and tin, suggesting the possibility that it was struck on an experimental or foreign planchet, perhaps one intended for another denomination or a non-circulating strike. And while such mistakes are extraordinarily rare in the 21st century minting environment, the presence of these foreign elements strongly supports the theory that a rogue planchet was somehow fed into the Lincoln cent production line during a moment of confusion or equipment malfunction. And further enhancing the coin's uniqueness is the fact that the edge, which should be smooth, appears to have semi-reeded grooves, not full reading like a dime or quarter, but a partially struck pattern that suggests the coin may have been improperly ejected or made contact with reading dies, again hinting at a mix-up in machinery that allowed a Lincoln cent design to be applied to a planchet partially meant for another denomination. And under microscopic inspection, numerous other die defects were noted, including long die cracks extending from Lincoln's bust to the rim, tiny die chips in the lettering of 1 cent and E pluribus unum, and even minute remnants of what appeared to be grease-filled dies that caused weakness in certain letters, making parts of the design appear soft or vanishing. And one of the most compelling theories about how such a coin could have come into being revolves around the transitional chaos that accompanied the high volume and complexity of the 2009 multi-design cent program, which involved frequent die changes, planchet material sourcing, and shifts in minting pressure to accommodate the different finishes, and it is widely speculated that during one such shift, a miscommunication or lapse in quality control may have allowed a non-standard planchet to enter the production line, become double or triple struck with misaligned dies, and then escape detection due to its similarity in size to a standard cent. And while many of these types of errors might result in a coin being rejected, destroyed, or pulled from circulation, in this extraordinary case, the coin not only survived but found its way into the wild, where it was eventually saved by an unwitting collector who kept it for years before a chance appraisal brought its many errors to light, and when the coin was submitted for grading, it was met with astonishment and reverence from experts at the highest levels of the numismatic community, who confirmed its authenticity and declared it to be not only genuine but utterly unique, with no other known 2009 cent possessing even a fraction of the combined errors found on this single coin, and once word spread, collectors and investors descended like hawks, determined to claim this modern marvel, which eventually went to auction in 2023 and shattered expectations by fetching $24 million, a record-setting price that reflects not just its intrinsic rarity but also the incredible story, controversy, and mystery surrounding its creation. And since its discovery, this coin has inspired countless collectors to re-examine their 2009 cents, with particular attention paid to the formative year's design and the Denver Mint issues, leading to the discovery of other, lesser-known errors but none that approached the singular complexity and magnitude of this coin. And its existence has forced experts to revisit assumptions about modern minting reliability, the potential for unknown planchet stock to be introduced into circulation, and the importance of careful scrutiny of even recent coins, because as this story shows, a coin does not have to be ancient or historically old to be valuable, it simply needs to be unique, anomalous, and surrounded by the kind of mystique that captivates the imagination of collectors worldwide. And so the legend of the $24 million 2009 formative years cent continues to grow, a symbol of the unpredictable nature of minting, the thrill of discovery, and the enduring appeal of numismatics in the digital age, proving that even in a world of billion-dollar tech companies and financial skyscrapers, a single penny, born from error and raised in mystery, can rise to become one of the most valuable artifacts in the modern monetary world. And with that incredible reminder, keep your eyes on your pocket change, keep checking those rolls, and never assume that any coin is ordinary, because the next multi-million-dollar discovery might be sitting right under your nose, and we'll be right here to tell you all about it when it happens.